While assembling engines, it's great to listen to relaxing sounds such as a babbling brook, the sounds of the rainforest, Tool, and other great metal bands.
Or rain on a tin roof.
Yeah, or rain on tin roof. Now, rain is counterproductive to assembling the engine, so be careful. Alright guys, now, you haven't seen me for a little while, and I'm sorry about that, but unfortunately, I got COVID, and it took a little while, and then because of the new job, I had some training I had to go to for a weekend, so it's been a little while. It's been a little while. I missed you.
Yeah, he's not really been back in the garage since before Christmas. And
I've missed you guys, not him, but you guys. I've seen him elsewhere. I see you all the time.
But anyways, so today, one of Kegan's Christmas presents was he got a set of
jugs. Get your mind out of the gutter. First off, I just want to say, I don't know if you guys watch videos or not, but a big shout out to John and Brian. Now,
that would be JB3 Moto, by the way.
Yes.
And the same guy at the wood processor. You guys are keeping up here.
Yeah. Now, again, I want you two to understand, if you watch this, if not, give them a shout out, tell them that I mentioned them in one of them, but I almost cried. I legitimately almost cried. Like, I was in tears unwrapping this, and this, I cannot say because I'm not allowed to curse. Sat there and enjoyed himself knowing the entire time that it was going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, get things down to brass tacks for you, so that way you know what's going on. So,
shiny stuff, reworked.
Yeah, no, Japanese.
Sorry.
Get it right. So Kegan bought an old motorcycle we were building into a chopper. You guys know that's happening. But when we bought the bike, the engine was seized, all right? So the issue here is that the piston was seized inside the cylinder so bad that even when we broke it loose, there was so much scoring in the cylinder, it was unsalvageable.
It was bad, guys. Like, it was to the point to where we had a hone and we were taking it out, and by the time we even began to make it look anywhere close to being decent,
it's garbage.
We knew we weren't gonna. It was gonna be way off. So
these are pretty 1 millimeter bigger pistons for a CB450. Now, the cool part about that is now Kegan's bike will actually be
a CB460.
It'll be over 450 cc's, because before it was 440 something or other. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, 444
444. Give them a close up of the inside of that. No, and the inside. Oh, lucky.
So beautiful.
So anyways.
Yeah, right there. 444.
So what we're doing today is we're actually going to put the jugs and everything back on, and while we're doing this, we're going to talk about how we're doing it, even though it's probably not the right way, and I'm sure everybody will let us know.
Guarantee it's not.
And then also we're going to talk about this engine a little bit specifically, because I think it's a cool little motor. So
they're actually nice motors. I mean, they're pretty cool little things.
Recap: Kegan's 450 is the predecessor to my 500 on my chopper. So I know a thing or two about these engines.
And a lot of the parts are kind of interchangeable for the most part. Haha, pun. Anyway.
So we'll get set up here. We're going to get started, and then we'll give you guys a little tip on the first thing we do as we get ready to set the jugs on.
Make a mistake?
Yeah, make a mistake.
Make a mistake, okay.
Okay, while Kegan's struggling to finish there, I'm going to show you guys a few things. So, yeah. Got your oil wiper ring here. Try to get that where you can see. It consists of 3 pieces. You have your center, and then the 2 outer bands. Now, I always try and put those outer bands to where your split is roughly 180 degrees out of your other split right there. And then on the next ring up, I put the split in that ring 180 degrees out from the top wiper ring, and then on the very top ring I'm 180 degrees out of the other one. And the reason for that is, I'm trying to show you guys and I can't really hear because there's the glare. Let me turn that off. That helps. So anyways, there's your splitting your ring there. The reason I do that is because what you don't want is, I'm gonna go ahead and spin this one the way you don't want it, and I'll spin it back. You don't want all your splits in your rings to line up like that right there, because what will happen is you'll have excessive blow by, and so when you put them together, you'll do that. Now when it gets compressed down, the split will be a lot smaller, it won't be that big, but I've always put them 180 degrees out. I know there's probably manuals that say so many certain degrees per ring, but for quick tip, I always at least make sure they don't line up. I'm sure there's a right way to do this, and somebody may comment below, but that's something I always do, is just make sure that the rings don't line up one after another. And so the next trick is you'll see on the top of the piston is you have a small indentation and a large indentation. And that indentation right there says IN, intake. And so, Kegan, take this off my hands, be careful. I'm gonna grab something else. If you look at the cylinder head,
telling me to be careful.
Yeah.
Waited 2 years. Don't drop it. Be careful.
Yeah, I'm gonna toss this around. So the cylinder head, your intake valve is larger than your exhaust valve. And so that's why those indentations in the pistons are different sizes. So the intake's on the back of the engine, because the carbs sit underneath the rider. So the important part of that is when we put the pistons on the engine, we want the larger indentation towards the back of the engine where the carbs are going to be, because that's clearancing for the valves.
And if not, be prepared to take it apart again, because you will have to.
And you'll have bent valves. So, and Kegan's already lubed up through here. So we're going to put the pistons on and slide the pins in. We want to lube up in the piston as well. We're using, where's our tube of stuff out there? We have that. This one's about out. Actually, you keep that one. I'm going to keep this one back here. This is a new one. I can't reach it. This is CRC engine assembly lube. I think that one's actually Luber plate. Same thing though. We use, I don't know, maybe. Anyways, use that one up. Use that one up, get it going. So anyways, we have engine assembly lube, and that's what we usually put all of our engines together with. Not that we do it all the time, but when we do.
Suspiciously like the one I bought for reassembling the four-wheeler that I'm pretty sure I brought here because I was looking for it this morning.
It might be. You'll be all right. Use that one up, then we'll break this one open. So anyways, a few tips right there. And once we start putting everything back together, we'll tell you a few more things. The head is going to be the interesting part about this engine, I promise. All right, now I got the camera off the stand. I'm going to be behind it for a moment.
A lot of lube later.
A lot of lube later, yeah. So Kegan's got his little clips in there holding the rings in there on each side.
I don't wipe it on
the rings.
There's enough stuff on the motor.
Get some more lube on there. Anyways, sorry, get his wrist pins in there. There's a little clip on each side. You can see they're both completely engorged in lube. So, not a bad thing. What we do have though, flip that upside down. So the way these are made, is you'll notice that that cylinder's got a bevel to it right there. Okay? And so when putting these together, I don't know any other way. We done both my engines the same way. Is one person gets the jug on there and gets it down on there and gets started, and you reach up in there and you just make sure those go up in that little area, and it will actually squeeze the rings in, running right through that bevel, and set your jug on. So we're gonna do that and get it together. Oh, something else too is right here.
Get you some wire.
Get you some wire. Make sure it's plenty long, because it's not gonna hurt to be too long. Because if you drop that down in there, it's gone. Then you're splitting the case and having all kinds of fun, and I don't recommend that. So,
is that from experience?
There was a close call, and I got scared. So, we're going to try not to do that here.
Yeah.
So, I'll set the camera back up on the stand, and we'll try and get a good view while we do this. I put an eye out with that thing.
You're the one that put the wire on there.
I poked a finger. Was it your left hand?
Yes. God.
Okay, now, I got this. Get the chain. Don't poke my out.
No promises.
No promises?
If I do, I'm going for the left one.
Okay. Alright. Well, you was trying, wasn't you? And it was the left one, too.
I told you.
So now, it's kind of a... I'm going to set that right there for a second, and we'll get the little screwdriver. I'll get that up in there. Help get that started. Okay, I want that. Ooh. Not cool, not cool. What? It's alright, just go ahead and let it on down. Let's get it started. Let me get around to that side. That's what I was thinking. I'm going to do that. Kind of rock the jug a little bit. There we go, there we go. And now rock the piston a little bit, kind of wobble it back and forth some. But not that one, the other one, on your side. I'm going to apply down pressure on the jug while you wobble the piston. I'm going to wobble this too. Kind of walk it up in there. I got one that's definitely going now.
Yeah, this side still.
Alright.
And a 10.
Okay, and there's that. All right. Okay, so
now I know what you guys are thinking. Yes, we made that look really easy. There was a lot of skill involved.
Looking at your back for most of it.
There was a lot of skill involved. There's some trade secrets that we couldn't reveal. That's the reason why I had to stand in front of the camera.
Yeah. So something to note is this right here is the back of the jug right here where my finger's at, because this is where the chain tensioner goes. We'll get to that later, but yeah, the jug is directional. This is the front, this is the back. There is an idler wheel that goes here on the bottom side of the head. And so now we're going to set the head on there and run the chain through that as well. Okay, quick recap just so you guys know what's going on. So we fed the chain up through there using the wire as we said we would. There is the sprocket down there. It's a guide sprocket. Then you got those little plastic ones that are guides, and then the same thing on the back, except for there's some missing because that hole is where the
tensioner goes. Now,
so
the best thing to do, like we've done, is if you're worried about the chain and it going in and not want to disassemble the whole thing, like you said earlier, wire.
And he's got the wire tied off there and tied off back here, so it don't disappear down into nowhere. So something to notice about this engine is that it is a double overhead cam. Now that sounds all fancy and powerful, but it is one intake cam and one exhaust cam. This is your exhaust cam here because that's what your timing's based off of, is that little shaft right there. Now, unfortunately, and this breaks Kegan's heart, we're gonna have to call it a night.
It's getting about that time. And
so he's got his sister's making ribs, and they're ready for him to eat. And I'll show you what we got going on outside here real quick. Got a 20-minute drive back to the house, and it was raining, and then it was sleeting, and now it's snowing, so that's gonna be fun. So with all that being said, we're gonna call it a night tonight. We'll be back momentarily. You guys will miss us for a split second, and it'll probably be a week before we're back here. So see you next Saturday and next screen change. And we're back.
Remember, folks, it's always nice to have an extra thing of lube.
Kegan, you want to tell them what you've been doing some this morning?
Messing up mostly.
Turn that light some. It's glaring the camera.
Well, mostly this morning I've been fighting with this light.
Well, you'll have that.
So
you're still fighting with the light. Guess who's winning? It's not him.
It's the light. Anyway, so this morning I went ahead and we had a little bit of a hiccup with we forgot something.
He uses that "we" word a lot. It's not my engine.
You built one of these. What happened to, I know how to put this thing back together. We can have it together,
well,
no problem.
When I put mine together, I had the book out, and we had to, hey, show him the book. Where's the book?
The book's right here.
I had to dig this out of the drawer this morning because I have one of these. Show him the front. Kegan's got dirty fingerprints all over it now because he don't take care of it.
So, we went ahead and I've got the cam on the exhaust side in, which, looking back, I jumped on the difficult side first, not even thinking about it, because I wasn't thinking. Then I should kick myself for it.
It'd be all right. So let's do a couple things here real quick. So get one of your cam followers. Where'd you put the ones on the intake side in already? Get one of the good cam followers, and then we'll show them what happens.
Oh, there's, let me get.
So I had a spare head sitting around, and there was some valve issues on another engine. Matter of fact, my engine had lack of oil in at one point in time. It had to be rebuilt. So I've got some bad parts with some good parts. So if you'll look in here, there is this cam follower right here, and it pushes down on your valve. Okay, so cool enough, right? And that is what one of them look like. You can see the little shiny spot here. That is where the cam hits it and pushes it down, and it actually turns off of a shaft that goes in the engine there. That's what it turns off of. Now, if you end up with I don't know if you can tell or not by looking at that one, but you can see that one's not really kind of flat anymore, but it's got a broken end on it. And then this other one, that one is jacked bad. So I kept these around here right now just so I can show you guys how bad that is. That one right there is wore out. You are not getting the correct amount of down pressure on the valve anymore, as most people say lift, but this doesn't have lift because it doesn't have a cam that pushes push rods up. This is an overhead cam. So where's your cups at for the back side that go on? Yep, so pull them out and we'll grab this cam here. So as you can see, the cam has got like these places on the end that it rides in, and there's some holes for oiling. I'll set that back down now. That's your intake cam, by the way. And so these cups right here, and you can see the hole for oiling once again. And you can see, oh, yep. Look,
timing mark.
Can you get timing mark there? But if you look inside, you can see there's an oil groove. All right. And so those will bolt onto the back side of the engine here, which we'll show you in a minute. And that is what holds the cam in there. And as you can see, this right here is riding in those cups.
You want to talk about the small cam for the follower?
Yeah, hold on just one second. Okay. On the exhaust cam, it has your points on the end of it. And so this right here, you can see this has got little weighted things, and it kind of slings, I've not got it in focus here, it kind of slings out as you get this shaft turning faster. And what it does is this lobe on here is what controls your points. And you can see if I twist the lobe, it actuates the weights there. And so as that slings out, as it's going faster, your points travel here.
And we could use some big fancy words like centrifugal advance and...
Yeah, well, you know, that is what it is, it's centrifugal advance. But, so what it is, it changes the lobes where the followers are for your points, and actually will advance the timing of the engine the faster it goes. Pretty cool for 1972 anyways. So, in there, you can see your shaft clear back in there, that this thing is your torsion, and then you can't hardly see it there, but your cam followers ride on, and they actually ride on this piece right here. And this nut and this shaft is actually say an oblong type setup, because that's how you set your valves. So if you look, you can't really tell that much, but right here where it rides, and you can see that is definitely an offset. It itself
is cammed.
Yes, so that itself is cammed, and it does that in order to put that in a position to adjust your valves. It'll raise the base of it up, and that controls how far you push down on your valve. So it's kind of hard to say all this and point at stuff, and I'm not looking at the screen of the camera, so I'm sorry if some of it's out of focus.
It also doesn't help that he's had like 3 pounds of sugar this morning. So.
I have not. But anyways, trying to think if there's anything else before we turn around and start working on the other side that we want to talk about here. So obviously this is your timing chain, which we've got held by a wire right now so it doesn't disappear down into the engine and get lost.
Which that needs to be, actually. I don't know how in the world that can.
And we're going to put all that together here after a bit, and that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, the part that we forgot about, that I'll go ahead and talk about this. So on this side of the motor, there's actually, the oil runs.
Here, I'll get over here.
There's a return that runs down through.
Yep.
So on the, if you look at the casing, you'll have 2 spots for the oil to return back down into the filter and into the casing, but it runs up through where your studs are, and then you have your return in the head, which, to get more fingerprints onto it, there is a picture here in the book somewhere. And
you lost it. You can't find it. You don't know what page you're on.
It's in here somewhere.
Well, yeah, it's all in there somewhere.
Well, listen, why don't you find it then? Was it in the front or the back? I can't remember. I've been through this thing like...
give us a minute. And we found it.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah, Kegan found it.
It was just a couple pages earlier. I skipped over. Anyway, but yes, this is what we were talking about, is this would be right side, but you have your oil return. Well, I guess it wouldn't be return, it'd be flowing up.
Yeah, that's your pressure up. The return returns back down the timing chain valley.
All right, sorry guys. Anyway, but yeah, it raises all the way up, gets to the cams, back down. But
and the cool thing to note is if you notice, the oil comes in the camshaft from this side, and the camshaft is hollow. It's got a little hole there. You can see all the way through it if you put it up to the light. But that oil travels through this and actually goes into the cup in the other side. So there's no oiling on this side, it's only on the one side. How fun is that? So, anyways, neat little motor.
very neat.
So what we'll do now is we're gonna kind of finish buttoning up this cam side with the exceptions of putting the timing chain on, and then we'll actually show you guys some of the cam or the intake side as it goes together.
Because someone had a bunch of sugar and was running around while I was working on this, and he didn't bother setting the camera up.
I got stuff to do too. I got a truck to build. And we'll be back.
Yeah. Alright guys, because I've turned this around and we've not done the intake side yet, wanted to show you that follower. And I actually am gonna...
Here, yep, let me have the camera.
So they just literally just slide in right there, and where it is cammed, you can see if I hold it, you can see it'll move for the adjustment.
Yeah, he's just turning that cam follower, is all he's turning.
Yep.
So anyways, go ahead and slip that on in there.
So then
Now he's going to set the cam in there. Is that the right way?
should be the right way.
You sure?
Well, now that you got me second guessing it.
The lift is the same on the intake valve, so that part doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Really, I don't. Your timing mark needs to line up. So where's your timing mark on your housing, your sleeves? Because there's a timing mark on that cam.
On both. Timing mark on this side. If there isn't a timing mark on both these,
I think we need to take a minute and do some research, folks. Be right back.
there isn't a time. Now, what was happening is...
But wait, stop.
Alright.
Kegan got all excited and put it in without the camera on, guys, once he figured out what was going on.
I'm sorry, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, these, as you can see, they're matching now.
The valve adjustment's on the outside of the engine right there on that, so we'll put a nut on that, and a 14mm wrench and a flat tip screwdriver, and somebody can come really screw your day up with a valve adjustment.
So, but with us putting it in, they were not adjusted to the same height. So whenever we were putting it in, it was actually tilting it, causing this side, it was just barely hitting it. It wasn't wanting to go in straight.
So we're going to take a minute, go get a bite to eat. I guess we got to move a dresser or two. So we'll get back down here. We're going to get our, I've got a chain tool. We're going to fish that piece of chain through there and get it. There's an idler down in there, and get to where it's basically on the outside of one of these cogs, whether it be exhaust or intake, it really don't matter. And then we'll put the last link in it and we'll press the chain pin together and call it a day.
Also, you can see on this side, if you guys don't know, so you've got a couple different marks. It actually has the turning, the directional right there.
Yep.
And then your model, your engine model, CB450T, and then you'll have an LT mark, which is your left top dead center, and your mark right there, and then your guide. So that plus those right there for the cams.
I can't see that real well, but there's a mark there.
Yeah. There's a little groove on the cam, and then there's the little arrow on that. So the other side's already centered. This is already centered. And then we'll get this and then get the chain on, and
then we'll have to press the chain back together, and I'll show you that pressing tool here in just a moment.
Yep.
Alright, so
after fighting.
Yeah, after fighting. You guys didn't want to see all that anyways. So the camshafts are at their timing marks. The crank's at its timing mark. I've managed to use a pair of channel locks and a little bit of finessing to get that chain link back in. And where's the other side of that link at, Kegan? Okay. What we're about to do is...
Probably something stupid.
Probably something stupid. I'm going to go ahead and try and start it with these, actually.
But if you will notice the wonderful paper towels, we went ahead and took as many preemptive measures as we could.
Yeah, because if not, I'm very likely to send that little master chain link piece. Well, it's not master, I guess. It's just a regular chain link that we decided to press out. But yeah, I'll send it to the basement of this thing if I ain't careful. I know me. Okay. So right now, that link, I don't know if you guys can see that. We'll try and get in there real close like. But now the pins are level with the face of the link. So now what I need to do is, I got me, there's a wrench over there too. It's a metric wrench. I think it's a 14 or so. Right here it is. Yeah, I know. I know a metric wrench working on a Japanese motorcycle. Hard to believe, but it happens. Okay.
You guys just aren't going to believe it whenever we put all the rice back in.
So if you guys don't have one of these, unfortunately one of these is an absolute must when doing work on these old Jap bikes. I think this is a Motion Pro, I think is this one. I've got a couple of these. These, you know, it's a chain press, so they're handy for working on all kinds of small chains, but I bought them mainly for situations like here. And so I'm gonna go back to that bottom one again. I pressed in the bottom a little bit, and I pressed in the top a little bit, and I'm gonna go back to the bottom and just work it to make sure it's kind of pinch level and I didn't get it, because I don't want to bend nothing here. I don't want to get it out of place.
You know you passed up a great opportunity at working on infomercials.
Did I now?
Yes.
Well, guess what I just done there? I pressed that rod up in the end of my little anvil piece there. How awesome is that? So just have to take that off there and then drive it off and thread it back on.
If you're going to try to break the motor, just let me do it.
Just let you do it. Come out. Now, I got pins that are through that link of chain, and this side over here has got the pins through that link of chain. So now it's time to press it. And we're going to use this one little rod here in this anvil, and I am going to, now we got that little rod sticking out there. So now I'm going to get that on there and use that little rod to mushroom the top of it. So we'll get back down here on it, like that. Do that right there. I'm going to go ahead and do it just a little bit with the wrench. Get us lined up. There's that. And then, oop, went all the way through, I let go of it. Try and go one more turn. Go another. Okay. Well, that's mushroomed. I'm gonna do the top one now. Okay, I see something has to happen. We'll have to back this awful and run like that. And get a turn right here. There we go. Okay. And I have got that one mushroomed as well. More on the back side than the front, but I'm gonna get in your guys' way for just a second. Yep. Anyway, so now Kegan's engine is now in time. We can move these wires, safety wires, to keep us from dropping stuff down in the engine, and remove all these paper towels. And we'll take, like I said, we'll take these wires off, and the timing chain's back together. So, spinning around here. Hey Kegan.
Tensioner assembly.
So we're going to go ahead and keep putting Kegan's engine together, but the main thing we want to show you guys was getting the jugs and the head and the cams and stuff back on the engine.
Yeah.
So Kegan's going to enjoy.
I really want to do it, but I don't want to lose pieces.
Well, I'm not even going to ask. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. I know this one's been kind of it's been a lot going on, but there's a lot of intricate pieces, and we didn't want to wrestle through all of it and take a bunch of time, so we tried to hit highlights.
Listen, we've done a lot of delicate work today, and looking at either one of us, do you think there's any bit of delicacy between us?
You use that term delicate word loosely, don't you? Guys, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and see you guys later.
See you guys.